National Report. Irrational and imprudent. Those were the words used by a D.C. judge after indefinitely blocking the Trump administration's freeze on federal grants and loans.
U.S. District Judge Lauren Alican said in the ruling, quote, the freeze was ill-conceived from the beginning. Defendants either wanted to pause up to $3 trillion in federal spending practically overnight, or they expected each federal agency to review every single one of its grants, loans, and funds for compliance in less than 24 hours. The breadth of that command is almost unfathomable. Judge Andrew Napolitano is a senior judicial analyst here at Newsmax, joins us. What do you make of this ruling, Judge?
I think that the language was most unjudicial. It's really not the province of the judges to address the wisdom or practicality of what the Congress has legislated, or in this case, the president has ordered. The word irrational is, however, a term of art because all government behavior has to have a rational basis. And if she's arguing there's no rational basis to it, then she should enjoin it. This is not a temporary injunction. This is a permanent injunction, basically saying you were enjoined from not doing your job. Flip side, you must spend this money. So you can certainly expect an appeal to the United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit, and if the government loses there, to the Supreme Court of the United States. I'm coming to the view that the president is intentionally teeing up all these things to get to the Supreme Court of the United States because he believes he'll get a faster resolution of it than if he asks Congress to change the law. My column this week talks about all he is doing, doesn't come out till tonight, all he is doing to diminish the effect of administrative agencies. Most of these administrative agencies, in my view, are unconstitutional. They're not even recognized by the Constitution. If Congress got rid of them, then there's no litigation. Congress created them. Congress can get rid of them. The president doesn't want to wait for Congress to get rid of them, so he's firing the heads. He's holding up the money. He's almost starving them to death and waiting for it to get to the Supreme Court.
I love it. We get a preview of your column here on National Report. Very
kind.
good. But that's not all. The only legal trouble he's facing. In another ruling, a federal judge gave the Trump administration less than 2 days to release billions of dollars in that U.S. foreign aid. This one was in response to a lawsuit filed by nonprofit organizations over the cutoff of foreign assistance through USAID and the State Department. How's
okay,
this one
so
different?
this is an emergency ruling. In this ruling, this group was able to demonstrate to the court that human beings would starve. They would suffer immediate and irreparable harm if the federal government stopped funding certain NGOs, non-government organizations in other countries, that they have created such a reliance on the American federal government, pardon me, that people wouldn't have food to eat. When a litigant can demonstrate to a judge the likelihood of immediate and irreparable harm, the judge will usually pounce and order something rectified. So that's what happened here. This is not a long-term order. This is start spending the money immediately and then come back to me and we'll see how it goes.
So what is the future with that order? What is the future of USAID in your view now? Do they have a future? Will they be able to continue on?
You know, you can't find a building in Washington, D.C. that says USAID on it.
Right.
The president offered the famous.
But they still have to spend the money.
Correct. They have to spend the money, which means human beings have to be in that building in front of their computers with access to bank accounts to send funds, literally federal funds, our tax dollars, or more properly, money borrowed in our names, to these foreign NGOs. And if those people have been fired, they have to get back to work. So the practical implications of what this judge has ordered are extraordinary. Can Donald Trump defy the judge? Well, you know, the president is subject to the judiciary as well, but I'm sure, again, this will be appealed.
Okay. Another lawsuit for you now, Judge. This one's slightly different.
How many do you have?
We're getting out of spending. Now, this one takes issue with the president's approach to DEI. A teachers union has filed the lawsuit over President Trump's crackdown on DEI in schools. The lawsuit accuses the Education Department of trying to rewrite civil rights law when it threatened to pull federal funding over mentions of race. What do you think about this one?
Well, I wish that Congress had done this. So the law of the Fed's giving money with strings attached. As long as those strings are arguably related to any federal function, we'll repave the highways in your state if you lower the speed limit. The feds can attach those strings, but the strings here stop the DEI or we will stop federal funds. The strings have to be attached by Congress, not by the president. Can the president put strings, so to speak, on money that's already been budgeted to these schools? No, he can't. It's got to be done by Congress, and he should do it now while he has an era of good feeling in the Congress. I know his budget only passed by 2 votes last night in the House, but he still has majorities in both houses of Congress. Now's the time to do it.
All right. And Judge Andrew Napolitano weighing in on 28 different cases.
Wait a minute. Emma doesn't
else do
have
we
any
need?
more cases?
No, there were
Let me,
29.
let me think about it. I'll get back to you,
I
Judge.
think the executive producer probably has a few more.
Probably. Don't go too far. Judge, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, still to come. We've got some dramatic footage to share with you. It shows U.S. Customs and Border Protection carrying out multiple arrests in the Gulf of America. We'll bring you full details in a report from Florida on the other side of the break.
Plus, in an effort to combat illegal immigration and migrant crime, Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs is creating her state's own
I'm staying